Yeah, I did hear about that. That's funny.
Hey lad! Ha ha!
What's up, YouTube? So one thing that people take for granted and don't recognize about pro ball is just how long the season is. If you're coming from college, or even if you're coming from high school, especially, high school you play about like 26 games, college 50 something, if you're lucky and go to postseason. In the minor leagues you play 132 games, so that's 3 times the season if you're coming from college, and so that definitely adds up. So you need to utilize your off days, but also not just totally slack off. So that's where the fine balance comes in of how you handle these days, basically. And after being in pro ball for a couple years, you learn how to train smarter but effectively. And that's kind of what my training has evolved in. I've gone through phases where I've really haven't lifted hard at all for 3 or 4 weeks. And then I've had phases when I've probably done too much. And I'm talking about in season here. And I think this is super applicable to you guys because most of you are finishing up your high school season and going to play summer ball, basically. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, but you need to know how to handle it properly. Because if you don't, you're just wasting like precious development time. And there is ways to go about it properly, and it's going to take experimenting for each of you guys and tinkering, and that's just part of the process. You're not going to be able to get it right immediately. But this video will help you clarify, how to go about in season, how I go about in season as a professional athlete, and different iterations that I've made throughout my journey, and iterations that I'm continuing to make to give myself the best chance to perform on the field, one, but also still make adaptations in the weight room and still be healthy for the duration of a real season. Like a pro season is a real season. College and high school are very short in the grand scheme of things when you look at how many games you guys are going to be playing when you get to the level that you want to be if you're aspiring to play pro ball. So these are all things to keep in mind. And one thing that I've kind of evolved on now is I'm going to get at least two, and if I'm lucky I can get a third one, but two really good lifts with some good stimulus. And what I mean by good stimulus is like they're going to have a heavy main lift, and mainly it's a press on one of the days, and it's some type of hinge squat on the other day. And then I still have room to get in another type of movement, hybrid type lift with some hypertrophy volume for one of those other days. It's not going to be as like taxing on my central nervous system, and it might be a lift that I feel comfortable hitting the day before a game or the day of a game that I will throw into. But for me, I've settled on that I have to stimulate the body pretty heavy at least 2 times a week to give myself the best chance to feel ready to throw and still make adaptations. The way I look at it is I'm 25 right now, and right now it's the easiest time in my life to make adaptations. If I'm playing when I'm 30 to 35, it's going to be harder to make adaptations then. I'd rather stack up as many as I can now to give myself that buffer. And so the younger you are, that still applies, like especially like 21 to 24, it's peak on your ability to adapt from training, how quickly you will respond from that training. So it's kind of silly to not utilize that time, even if you're in season. And this is something that I'm going to talk about with guys that I train remotely. My buddy Mason, he's been training guys for the last year and a half. I've kind of plugged him through some of my stuff. You guys have seen him on the videos. I'm going to help him. I'm going to be a coach with him. So if you guys want to get advice from me and have me be in your corner as a mentor, as a friend, and as a coach, basically, specifically for pitchers, then shoot me a DM. I'll leave my Instagram in the description here, and we can talk about if that's a good fit for you guys. Capitalizing on these summers that you guys are entering into right now is going to be huge. A lot of you guys are trying to get noticed, trying to get seen. You have all these different people in your head. Some of them have your best interest in mind, some of them don't. But I can tell it to you straight, I've been in your shoes less than 5 years ago. I know how to shift through bullshit from coaches. I know what's genuine. I have a vast web of connections within college baseball. And you can come to me with anything, and we're going to get you dialed. One, from the performance standpoint, from the strength standpoint, from the throwing and pitching standpoint, but two, just being a resource on how to navigate the recruiting space if you guys are in high school particularly, and how to navigate the draft space, transfer portal, etc. if you're a college guy. It's a busy world out there, and a lot of these coaches don't have your best interest in mind. So just keep in mind that's another thing that I'll offer you guys if you work with me with remote coaching. Again, shoot me a DM if you want to get your questions answered, and we can get to work. But that's something that we're going to start doing for this summer. So take advantage of it, guys. Whatever you do, again, this summer is huge. It's a huge development window for you guys. You don't have school to worry about. You can prioritize a lot of the stuff that's going to help you get to the places you want to be, whether that's D1 baseball, pro baseball, good JUCO, whatever it may be. Before we move on with the rest of the video, here are just some testimonials from guys that have worked with Mason, and I'm going to be using a similar framework as him. We're going to be working together hand in hand. So check out some of these guys. They've been in your shoes. They've made gains, and they're in a better spot for it. So it's about investing in your career, guys. That's the name of the game is, when you invest in your career with the right people that actually have your best interest in mind, some great things can happen. And especially with this whole new game of NIL, I mean, you're not even just earning a scholarship, you're potentially earning a wage basically at these places if you can set yourself up to be an impact player at a big school, and we can help you do that. So back to off days. We're talking about off days. I think it's a super important concept, and it's a balancing act for you guys. You don't want to just totally veg out. That's not the point of an off day, and you don't want to go insane and do too much in the weight room or whatever it may be. In pro ball, it's specifically magnified because we play 6 games a week. Granted, I'm a pitcher. I'm not playing in all 6 games. But it's still mentally taxing to go through the whole routine for 6 days a week. And we have Monday, which is our one off day. And so I've tinkered with how I handle this. Now, mainly on my off day, I like to throw regardless. I just feel better. I think throwing is like feeding the arm if you do it the right way. And I like to do some type of recreational activity that really gets my mind off of baseball. And right now it's golf. And I've tinkered with this, different activities, and I've learned how to not go too far, because golf is still definitely a stressor, right? It's rotational. If you're going to go out there and hack over and over again, it might not be the best thing for you. But I really like the parallels that we have, if you guys have golfed, into pitching. It's managing the course. Very similar to managing the game, coming back from bad shots. Very similar to executing a pitch after you just yipped one, freaking pull yank. It's all about flushing and moving on to the next and executing. It's extremely mental. It's very finicky. It's tinkery. It's not like a brute force game like a football or a basketball where things are happening very quickly. You have time in between pitches to overthink. But it also gives you the reps to be able to, work on some of the things that you're going to face out there. That's what I encourage with you guys. Don't get your identity fully wrapped up into baseball. Have other hobbies, have other sports, have other activities that you guys play, especially as you're younger. It'll help broaden your web of abilities, your web of coordination, rhythm, all these things. Instead of getting pinholed into baseball immediately, you become, you're just a shallower person if that's all you do. And you're not, it's like part of being a man, being able to be well-versed in different things and capable in different realms. So I would encourage you guys not to be totally fixated on baseball on your off days, but don't totally slack off either. Find that balance, continue to tinker. Feel free to ask me any questions about how to handle, your downtime from the game, whether that's weeks or your specific off days. But for me, I'm going to take you through what I do, and a lot of times I'm at the field, I'm going to get my throwing in, I'm going to address some specific mobility things depending on where I have thrown last, and then I'm going to maybe get a little lift in, depending on if I'm not going to be hot for the next day. Something to kind of prime my body. I really, movement is medicine. Again, I've said this in a numerous amount of videos, guys. Getting out and doing stuff, immersing yourself in the world, whether that's social interactions, whatever it may be, is going to help you recover. It's going to help you recover more than Mark Proing in your room alone in a scroll hole, guys. And I can say that from personal experience. You're
Car.
trying to restore some ranges of motion in my lat, in my shoulder, build a little bit of shoulder strength, get some just flow, some movements. These movements on the ground, they're gonna be super high reps. Like I'll do these 50 reps for a couple sets. Just get the blood flowing. It feels really good in my shoulders. And then the crawl pattern is the one where I'm lifting up the left arm while my right leg is going up and vice versa. And that's like a locomotion that you see in all athletics. When you're running, it's this pattern that creates tension across in a diagonal line, and you see it while you're throwing, crawling, walking. So that's a pattern that we do naturally, but there's been a lot of research on it to just be brain stimulating and muscle stimulating, and it kind of helps flush out my system. At least it feels like a full body thing when I do that one. The other one is just for my shoulders, the swimmers, just getting, it's like, I think of it as like grease for my shoulder. Yeah, and then these other movements are just simple, some hypertrophy for the shoulder, and a different range, ER, and some abduction and adduction on the way back out. Basically, the shoulder is undergoing so much stress in the throw, right? And you have your ligaments, your tendons, your muscles that can disperse the stress. Ideally, you want to disperse a lot of the stress on the muscles because you can get them stronger the most simple way. And we see traditional training has us doing a ton of super high rep, really low weight, super specific yet not actually accomplishing a whole lot of exercises, and we wrap it up, call it arm care. And it's obviously not working with a lot of people. I mean, TJ rates are at an all-time high, and people are going down. You know, people are trying to throw harder, which is a necessity, but like aren't equipped with the tools to do so. So, and there's ways like this is specific for the shoulder, right? There's exercises exactly similar to this that are going to be hitting your elbow and other vulnerable joints. You know, for pitchers, it's mainly the elbow and the shoulder, and you know, those are the exercises that I'll dive into you guys if you choose to work remotely with me or Mason, because it's just invaluable to, you know, it's doing yourself a disservice if you're not preparing the tissues to be able to handle that load. But for this one specifically, I stay in the rep ranges of like 3 to 5. If you're just starting out, I would say like maybe you can go like 6 to 8 and just build some of that general strength with a lower weight. Right now we have a 30-pound dumbbell. And essentially, all I want to do is I use the bench to fix the movement so that all the stress is going here, right? And if you see, I have a bit of an angle. I think this makes it a little bit easier. When we throw most of the time, we're going to be level. So if you have a little towel or something, put it there. It's going to create more leverage on the shoulder, which will make it a little more challenging. I like it. In this case, I'm just doing it like this. You can lower your body a little bit to match it. But essentially, I'm going to do 3 solid reps of this, and it's just a smooth tempo. And I'm trying to just have this be fixed and my upper body be fixed, and the only movement is this going up and down. Obviously, this isn't the only thing that I do to keep it healthy, but this is an exercise that I like that I think is simple enough that I can relay to you guys over YouTube, and you guys can implement and see how it works for you. If you're looking for more detailed stuff, more all-encompassing stuff, then hit me up and we can train together and we can get you guys right. But I wanted to give you guys something super simple that you can apply immediately for free. So this is a clip from my bullpen a couple days ago, and I just kind of wanted to walk you through. It's just like a touch and feel before the game, and kind of what I was thinking, what I was working on. So I've come to find out that fastballs with less than like 6 inches of horizontal break, as long as they preserve like maybe 10 to 15 inches of vertical break carry, the stuff grades on those are a lot higher than fastballs that are runnier. So I am like making some grip adjustments. I'm trying to just kill some horizontal break on my heater. I don't want it to be like across the 0 line or like a full-on cutter or anything, but I want the horizontal to try to be between like, if I could, like 3 to 8, as opposed to like right now it's like 12 to, oh, it's not that, it's probably about 8 to like sometimes like 15. So those runnier heaters play fine against lefties, but they don't play fine against righties, and I already have a couple weapons against lefties in the gyro slider and the sweeper. So really trying to like hone this pitch to be more consistent so it's a better offering against righties, but even the shape is better, it grades out better against lefties as well. So that's kind of what I'm working on here. And I don't have data right here, but there's a couple good ones, a couple bad ones, and then I'm also just mixing in some other breaking pitches. But yeah, that's kind of what I was working on here, and obviously it's important before you guys touch the mound, have a focus, try to get something out of it and be specific about it. So just a few more details on the remote training. I'm only going to be working with 4, maybe 5 guys, but it's going to be super exclusive so that I can allocate the time properly to the guys that I'm working with. It's going to be all encompassing. I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about mental game, I'm talking about how to actually be a competitor when you have your terrible stuff for that day. I'm talking about staying healthy, staying on the field. It's going to be super well-rounded in how we go about this, and it's going to be a lot of value for you guys, so I'm really excited. Like, I know some of you guys are that player that knows that they have it in them, they just can't quite put the pieces together yet. They feel like they have some missing links here and there, and it's really costing them, and they're feeling like their competition is outlapping them, and they're anxious about it, and they don't quite know what to do. It's almost like there's an overload of information out there. This is for those guys that want to just clear out the clutter, clear out the noise, clear out all the BS, and just get real work done, real progress in the areas that they need to get those results and have a great summer and roll into fall ball and next year a completely different player. Obviously, this summer is huge for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are playing, but you're training hard as well. You don't have to worry about school. It's a great time to develop and, ultimately change the trajectory of your career. It's a time where you can slack off, you can go at it half-hearted, you can try to piece together random Instagram workouts, or you can have a full structured plan, and you can have a line of communication with someone that's in your shoes. So it's an exciting time for you guys. If this is something that you are interested in, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and we'll talk about getting you set up. So that's going to be it for this, y'all. This was my off day as a pro baseball player. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and we're going to have some more great content coming soon. Comment any video ideas that you think we should do. Yeah, peace. Keep balling.